Is your home falling apart? Old pieces of the puzzle seem warped or missing. The things that once brought you joy no longer do. Things are dull and gray feeling. I'm going to tell you today about this little thing called the joy button and exactly where it lives. This is a very technical kind of talk, so I do have my notes with me. But it's something that when I was really looking into the energetic body and mixing that with actual physical anatomy, I found this little space in there, this little energetic and physical space that you can utilize to bring and uplift you, to bring joy, to elevate that energy level. So in the heart, there are these tendinous strings called the chordae tendineae, your heartstrings. You have literal heartstrings inside of your heart muscle, and it's a tendinous cord that's responsible for keeping the heart valves stable. Because as the heart beats, those valves open, and there are a couple of valves that if they didn't have these tendons or these heartstrings, they could blow backwards, they could invert, and then they wouldn't close again for each time it needed to pump. So we have heartstrings to stabilize the rhythm of our heart. These heartstrings also connect to the papillary muscles. They connect the heart valves to the papillary muscles, and the papillary muscles are in the lower ventricles of the heart, and what they do is they contract, and they push that blood up into the heart to elevate the blood to the top. Now, when the blood gets to the top of the heart, those valves open, and the heartstrings keep those valves closed when they need to be closed, and then they keep them from going backwards when they're open and when they're pumping. So there's two strings because there's two valves that could go backwards. The rest of them stabilize themselves, but there's two that could blow backwards because they get the most pressure when the heart pumps, and that's the tricuspid and the mitral valve. This is important, all right? I want you to keep up with what I'm saying, okay? I know it sounds very technical, but keep up with what I'm saying. The heart pumps. There's pressure. It's pushing the blood up the heart and through the body, right? And there's two valves that need stabilizing, and the heartstrings are what connect the pressure to the valve in order to stabilize it. Think about the pressure in your life right now. Think about what needs stabilizing in your life right now. Think about what needs the stabilization because it's receiving the most pressure. There you go. Now you got it. Now let's make the connections, okay? So you have the tricuspid and the mitral valve that these two heartstrings are attached to. The tricuspid is a trinity of renewal. We're going to call it a trinity of renewal because it's the right side, and it's the side that receives, and it has the least amount of oxygen in the blood. It's receiving, it's gathering, it's intaking. Think of those three things: receive, gather, intake. That's what it does over on the right side of the heart. It transitions from receiving life back and prepping it for renewal. It's interesting that it's on the right side of the heart because when we think of feminine energy, the receiver, the transition, we think of the left side of the body. But in your heart, that's actually inverted. The right side of your heart is the side that receives all of the blood coming in and preps it for new life. So what are you trying to receive right now that maybe you're not allowing yourself to receive, or that maybe could be putting you under supposed pressure? Maybe you feel a lot of pressure around receiving old things, but you're supposed to be receiving the old things in order to transition it, to transform it, to create new life with it, to do something different with it. So when old things come up, maybe it's not a test. Maybe you're not stuck in an old pattern. Maybe life is saying, here, this is the old. What should we do with this? And it's your job to, from your heart, transform it into something new. Create it into something different. Now let's look at the mitral valve. The mitral valve is on the left side of the heart, and this handles the blood that has the highest amount of oxygen in it, and it sends it to the whole body. Therefore, it has the highest intensity. It has the highest amount of pressure in it. It has a force. It has a responsibility for output. This is the strongest chamber in the heart, is the mitral valve. And this, because it sends blood, it sends that oxygen through the entire body, this represents the fullest expression of life. This is action, embodiment, circulation through the world. So on one hand, on the right side of the heart, you're receiving the old, transforming it into something new. And on the left side of the heart, this is where you're feeling the most pressure, the most intensity, because you're supposed to be expressing yourself through all of life. This is where you get to take who you are, all of your hopes, dreams, inspirations, who you want to be, the things you want to experience, and express that, where your inner world becomes an outer world because you express it. If you never express yourself, your inner world stays your inner world, and it eventually cripples. It never becomes fully embodied. And that's what the left side of the heart is trying to get you to do. And if you don't express yourself, if you don't embody your dreams and desires and your needs, it builds up. It builds pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure until you want to explode like a volcano. I almost said the word hurricane, but I saw a volcano. So hurricane or volcano, either way, there's a lot of pressure there and a lot that's ready to move. And so those heartstrings, under all of that pressure where you just need to express yourself, your heartstrings' job is to stabilize so that you can express without the explosion, so you can express without the inversion, so that you can deal with the transition and the pressure without collapsing. This is the job of your heartstring. It's strong. It can handle that pressure. That's exactly what it's for. It allows the heart to open, it allows the heart to close, it allows the heart to flow, and in a supported way, even under pressure. I want you to take that last line that I said and apply it to your life. It allows your heart to flow, even under pressure. It brings you stability in your life, even under pressure. Those papillary muscles that we mentioned earlier, they contract before the ventricles actually squeeze. Now, if you don't know anything about heart anatomy, the ventricles are the lower part of the heart that squeezes the blood up. And there's muscles there that do the squeezing, right? The muscles squeeze. And so I just thought that that was an interesting little plug to put there, that the papillary muscles contract just a fraction of a second before the ventricles actually squeeze. Because that means that while you have a system to support you and stabilize you with your heartstrings, you also are activated before the pressure peaks. Meaning there's a little something there inside of you that activates, and you have the ability to express it even before you feel the pressure from it. Your life doesn't have to be a big buildup of pressure. You have support and stabilization you can express before you feel the squeeze. So that little space we've been talking about around the heartstrings, this is your support system regulation. But the spot that I'm trying to bring you to, that little joy button, it's in the little spot between two other spots. You have two areas, and the joy button is between those two areas. We've explored the heartstrings, that's one area. Where's the other area? What is that? The vagus nerve. The vagus nerve. The vagus nerve's actually, it moves through your entire body. It connects The heart and the heartstrings at the back of the thoracic, right here in the upper thoracic spine, between your shoulder blades, is where those two connect. That's where your joy button is. It's not the front of the heart. So you energy workers, if you're out there like, oh, I need more joy and connection, let me feel the heart. Honey child, the joy button's in the back of the heart. You got to get to the back. You got to move way back here. There's a back to your chakras. Now, I will admit that the back to the chakras normally show a little bit more of the human side, or a little bit more of the shadow side, if you will. For instance, the sacral space, where that's your passion and your creativity and your sexuality and just how you express energy and how you feel the pressure for energy and creation, the creation of life and everything you want to bring. The front of that might be more about quality of relationships and manifestation, whereas the back of it might be more about quantity and sexual relationships and physical connection. So it's a little bit more human. But the back of the heart is where the heartstrings meet the vagus nerve. And let's talk about that vagus nerve for just a second, because this is your safety to connect and express. That upper area we were talking about, the heartstrings, is your support system regulation, where everything's stabilized. You have a support system even when you feel the pressure, even when you need to express. But the vagus nerve is your safety to connect and express. You can be supported and stabilized in expressing, but if you don't feel safe to express, if you don't feel connected, then you never will. Stabilization becomes unnecessary if it's never actually expressed, right? So the vagus nerve is the part of the nervous system that regulates rest, connection, digestion, recovery, safety we talked about, social bonding. It connects the brain to your major organs, such as the heart, lungs, obviously, because all that's right here in the heart chakra, the gut, and the vocal cords. Not just the heart and lungs, not just the stuff that's here in this chakra, even though that's obvious, the gut and the vocal cords. Very interesting that your voice is where you express from, not just where you place boundaries or express your needs. It's just where you express yourself in general. This is where you talk about the things that you like, where you have conversations, where you teach from. This is your space where you get to just be who you want to be and let other people know who that is. And your gut, which controls part of your brain, your gut is so super important. Your gut helps you regulate your entire nervous system, because when you're with your gut, this is your stability, this is your regulation, this is you knowing that you're safe. This is such a big part of all of your overall health is in your gut. And if your gut is infested with fear and these, I want to call them hangers on, so blockages or fears or stressors, if all of that just lives in your gut, in your internal environment, then that's what your mind is creating. And if your mind creates that, then that's what you express verbally. And if that's what you express verbally, that's what your heart feels. And everything becomes pressurized and unsafe and unstable. And then you get weakened heartstrings. We want everything to be strong, to have a strong foundation, to be powerful when it pumps, to move through with strength. So we have to have a healthy gut and have a healthy vagus system, vagus nerve. So this nerve being attached to these particular major organs, it stabilizes your emotions, your expressions, your breath, your heart rate, and your inflammation levels. So if you physically are having any issues with your heart rate or anxiety or inflammation, which kind of leads into autoimmune type things, you probably don't have a regulated vagus nerve. And that's something that we need to reset our gut with. It's something that we need to sit with, to stabilize. because it has to be stable enough to hold your input and safe enough to connect and express through an output. So by activating that little space in the back of the heart, that joy button, you can create a beautiful, expressive, joyous, loving, open, calm life for yourself just by focusing on those two factors. If this button has been ignored for a really long time, you might find yourself dealing with chronic stress, suppressed emotions, fear-based environments. And what we want to do, or how you can activate that joy space, there's like 4 things that I'll encourage you to do just this week. If you can do this all this week, and then practice it consistently throughout the following days and weeks, I bet you it will help reset your vagus nerve and strengthen your heartstrings so that you can live in that joy space. The first one is breath. Your breath reminds you to be here now, not to worry about the future. You don't know what you need to worry about because it hasn't even happened yet. Not to live in the past, because if you live in the past, you're the one who's bringing it back and living it over and over and over again. But to just be present with life, with your prana, with your life force, with everything that life is right now, your breath. You can do this mindfully with mindful breathing or breath meditations, or you can do this through breath work, through box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, repeat for 2 minutes. Just come to your breath over and over and over again. Expand your ribs when you breathe. Breathe with your chest. Breathe into your belly. Maybe you notice that you don't really take deep breaths. And if you have trouble taking deep breaths, you've probably been living with chronic stress for a really long time. That probably has led to inflammation and living in environments filled with fear. So really bring yourself into your breath. The second thing you can do to activate this joy button is sound. Sound is so important. You've heard of sound baths. These are crystal singing bowls. You can listen to Hertz music. Maybe you express your own sound through singing or humming or chanting. You can get a mala bead and chant. Whatever feels right for you. You can absorb sound. You can create sound. Vocalization is so important. Have you ever wondered why in really intense periods of time people vocalize? A woman giving birth will vocalize. She will scream. She will let it out of her body. And it's because there's a lot of pressure that needs to be expressed, because that makes the body feel safe when it's not suppressed. Letting it out. Maybe these are conversations that need to be had. Things that need to be resolved, things that you've been suppressing that you need to express. So sound. The third thing you can do to activate this joy button is movement. A sedentary lifestyle is havoc on your gut and havoc on your mind. Movement. This could be dance, working out, walking daily, whatever you need to do to move. You can get into some sort of flow state, just listening to some music and let yourself flow around or stretch. But movement, your body needs to express. During drum circles or any time that there's a lot of pressure built up, you might notice people need to move a little bit. They need to shake around some. They need to stomp their feet or clap their hands. Whatever you need to do to move and express yourself through that movement, do it. It's activating your joy button. The fourth thing is nature. When I say nature, I mean sunshine and dirt. Sun and dirt. Get yourself in the sun. Get yourself on the ground. I don't care if you have to roll in grass and bathe yourself in daisies. Get on the earth. Take your shoes off. They're blocking you. Get into the grass. Walk on the earth. Have a relationship with the earth. Become one with the earth. Bury yourself in a hole on the beach. Whatever you have to do to get into and be part of nature. And that doesn't mean just sitting on your back porch for 5 minutes a day. I'm talking get in the sun, get in the ground, get on the ground, touch trees. People hug trees for a reason, guys. It regulates your nervous system. So this chamber of joy can be activated with breath, sound, movement, nature, and these are all very grounded things that you can actually physically do to activate this. You don't have to go into trance, you don't have to go into meditation, you don't need a healer to do it. You can do it all on your own. And when you do this consistently for days and weeks, you slowly find that you are supporting your own regulation, that you feel supported and regulated. You finally will notice how maybe your baseline heart rate was somewhere up here, and suddenly you're noticing maybe it's a little closer to down here now, because you feel supported in your expression and you feel safe enough to connect and express. You have the ability to hold your input even under pressure and connect and express your output at the same time. And these two sides working together, the input and the output, the transformation and the expression, these are the things that activate your joy space, increase your serotonin, make you feel peaceful. And this is something you can do for yourself. Welcome to the Joy Chamber.